Cell shading isn't just a graphic style, it's pure art. It turns 3D models into living drawings, with bold lines and vibrant colors. That look that makes you feel like you're inside an anime or a Saturday morning cartoon. And I've always been a huge fan of games that use this technique in amazing ways. Some RPGs look so stunning they feel timeless, even years later. So today, I'm bringing you 10 of them, and you might just find your next favorite. Tales of the Abyss is one of those RPGs that just sticks with you, not only because of its story, but because of how beautifully it uses cel shading to bring its world to life. Released on the PlayStation 2, it's part of the long-running Tales series, but for many fans, this is the standout entry. Even today, playing it feels like watching a high-quality anime unfold right in front of you. You step into the shoes of Luc von Faber, a sheltered noble who's never seen the world beyond his mansion walls. After a strange incident throws him far from home, he's forced into a journey that challenges everything he knows about himself, about his friends, and about the fragile balance of the world. What starts as a straightforward adventure quickly spirals into a story about identity, sacrifice, and the cost of change. The battle system is fast-paced and action-oriented, letting you move freely around the battlefield in chain attacks and flashy combos. It's easy to learn, but deep enough to keep you experimenting with arties, skills, and team setups. And with the game's vibrant, cel-shaded visuals, every attack feels like it belongs in a hand-drawn action sequence. What really sells Tales of the Abyss is how its art style captures emotion. Towns glow warmly, grassy plains feel alive, and the character animations, from subtle expressions to dramatic standoffs, make you forget you're looking at polygons. The cel shading keeps it all crisp, timeless, and immune to the aging that often hits early 3D games. Years later, the game even made its way to the Nintendo 3DS, but the PS2 version remains the most visually striking. Tales of the Abyss isn't just a great RPG, it's one of the best examples of how cel shading can make a game feel both modern and nostalgic, no matter how many years pass. Revenant Kingdom is one of those games that makes you stop mid-quest just to soak in how stunning it looks. From its sweeping landscapes to its tiniest character animations, the cel shading here feels like a Studio Ghibli movie that you can actually play. Released first on the PlayStation 4 before coming to PC, Xbox One, and even the Nintendo Switch, it manages to keep its beauty intact on every platform. You play as Evan Pettywhisker Tildrum, a young king who's overthrown in a sudden coup and forced to flee his own castle. Alongside Roland, a mysterious man from another world, Evan sets out to build a new kingdom from scratch, one where people of all races can live together in peace. It's a premise that blends political drama with fairy tale wonder, and the journey takes you through a variety of breathtaking lands, each with its own personality and charm. Unlike the first, Ni no Kuni, which leaned heavily on traditional turn-based combat, this sequel switches things up with real-time battles. You slash, dodge, and unleash flashy skills with the help of tiny elemental spirits called Higgledies. They add both strategy and visual flair to fights, with colorful effects lighting up the battlefield. The art direction is where Ni no Kuni 2 truly shines. Even though the legendary Studio Ghibli didn't directly work on this installment, several of its former artists and animators returned, keeping that whimsical, heartfelt look intact. Towns bustle with life, forests feel magical, and dungeons have a painterly quality that never gets old. Whether you play it docked on a big screen or on the go with the Switch, Ni no Kuni 2 is proof that cel shading can make a game timeless. Years from now, it'll still look just as magical as the day it launched. And it's a must-play for anyone who loves RPGs with heart, charm, and jaw-dropping artistry. Borderlands 3 takes cel shading and cranks it up to a chaotic, neon-soaked 11. From the very first firefight, you're hit with an explosion of colors, comic book outlines, and exaggerated designs that make every location and character pop. The Borderlands series has always embraced this bold, graphic novel aesthetic, and in the third entry, it's sharper, brighter, and more detailed than ever, especially if you're playing on a high-end PC or modern consoles. At its core, Borderlands 3 is a loot shooter RPG. You choose a vault hunter, each with their own skill trees and unique abilities, and then blast your way through hordes of enemies across different planets. The appeal isn't just in the over-the-top gunplay, but in the sheer variety of weapons, from shotguns that fire sticky bombs to rifles that transform into walking turrets. The cel-shaded art style doesn't just look cool. It gives Borderlands a distinct identity in a genre dominated by realistic military shooters. Every explosion, elemental effect, and headshot feels more like an animated spectacle than a gritty firefight, keeping the tone light despite the high body count. Humor has always been part of the series' DNA, and Borderlands 3 delivers it with snarky NPCs, absurd side quests, and over-the-top boss fights. Whether you're chasing loot, laughing at ridiculous dialogue, or just exploring for hidden secrets, there's always something to keep you hooked. If you've got friends to play with, Borderlands 3 is at its best in co-op, where the chaos multiplies and the loot rains down faster. Even years after release, it remains one of the most stylish examples of cel shading in modern gaming. Proof that you can mix RPG depth, shooter action, and cartoon aesthetics into one gloriously over-the-top package. If you're a fan of turn-based RPGs and love the look of anime brought to life, Cyber Sleuth and its companion game, Hacker's Memory, are absolute must-plays. Both games take place in the same digital universe, running parallel stories that connect in clever ways. Cyber Sleuth puts you in the role of a young hacker unraveling a mystery involving a virtual network, while Hacker's Memory shifts the focus to a new protagonist caught in the same events, but from a different perspective. The coolest part? You can collect, train, and evolve hundreds of Digimon, each rendered in gorgeous cel-shaded style that feels like the anime is playing right in front of you. And the art direction isn't just for show. The battles pop with vibrant effects, the world feels alive, and every Digimon model is packed with personality. What I love is that these aren't just adaptations of the TV series. They're original stories set in the Digimon universe, giving you fresh characters and plot twists that keep you hooked from start to finish. Combat is classic turn-based, but with team-building depth that rivals Pokemon, and honestly, in some ways, surpasses it. You'll need to think about type matchups, abilities, and evolution paths to create a squad that can handle anything the game throws at you. Both games together can easily give you over 100 hours of content, and that's without even going for 100% completion. The cel shading here is crisp, clean, and timeless, meaning these games will still look great decades from now. They've been released on multiple platforms, including PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Switch, and PC, so they're super easy to find. And if you're into monster collecting, stylish visuals, and storylines that balance mystery, humor, and drama, this duo delivers it all. Whether you grew up with Digimon or you're completely new to it, Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory prove that cel-shaded RPGs can be as deep as they are beautiful.
We may struggle with fear and anxiety, but we shape our own destiny.
Metaphor ReFantazio is one of the boldest new RPGs in recent years, and it shows just how far cel shading can go when paired with incredible art direction. Developed by the creators of Persona, it takes that stylish flair and applies it to a completely new fantasy world. The visuals are jaw-dropping, blending anime-style characters with painterly backdrops that look like concept art brought to life. Every scene feels alive, with dynamic camera work, intricate lighting, and bold color choices making each moment stand out. Unlike Persona's modern-day setting, Metaphor throws you into a rich, medieval-inspired realm filled with political intrigue, strange creatures, and mysterious magic. The combat system mixes turn-based strategy with real-time elements, making battles fast-paced but still deeply tactical. And of course, the social and relationship-building aspects are here too, letting you connect with allies and shape the story through your choices. The cel shading here isn't just for style. It enhances the fantasy atmosphere, making characters pop against sweeping landscapes and ornate cities. Even the smallest details, like armor engravings or magical effects, are highlighted beautifully through the art style. The soundtrack complements it perfectly, ranging from epic orchestral pieces to more intimate, emotional tracks. It's a game designed to feel timeless, something you could revisit years later and still be impressed by. And with Atlus's history of creating cult classics, this one already feels destined to be remembered as a genre-defining RPG. Whether you're here for the combat, the world building, or just to get lost in its stunning visuals, Metaphor ReFantazio delivers on all fronts. If Persona was the stylish modern RPG, Metaphor is its equally stylish fantasy sibling. And it might just be one of the most beautiful cel-shaded games ever made. Crimson Tears is one of those hidden gems from the PlayStation 2 era that still turns heads thanks to its incredible cel-shaded visuals. Developed by Dream Factory, the same team behind unique fighters like Tobal Number 1, it blends beat-em-up action with dungeon-crawling RPG elements. The premise is pure sci-fi. You control one of 3 bioengineered warriors, each with their own combat style, exploring ever-changing futuristic ruins. Procedural generation keeps each run fresh, with new enemy layouts, traps, and loot to discover every time you play. The combat is fast, flashy, and loaded with satisfying combos, feeling more like a fighting game than a traditional RPG. Where Crimson Tears really shines, though, is its cel shading. Sharp outlines, bold colors, and smooth animations that still look gorgeous today. The character designs have that early 2000s anime flair, giving the whole game a distinct style that sets it apart from other PS2 action RPGs. Even the environments, from neon-lit corridors to industrial arenas, pop with vibrant, saturated colors. There's also a solid upgrade system, letting you enhance weapons and abilities to fit your preferred playstyle. It's challenging too. Enemies hit hard, and resource management is key if you want to survive the deeper levels. At release, it flew under the radar and got mixed reviews. But over time, it's gained cult classic status among action RPG fans. Playing it now feels like uncovering a lost experiment from a time when developers were willing to take big risks. And visually, it holds up shockingly well, proving that cel shading can make a game look timeless. If you love fast-paced combat, random dungeon layouts, and that stylish anime-inspired PS2 look, Crimson Tears is absolutely worth tracking down.
In peaceful days, I fear the edge of dawn, knowing time betrays.
Three Houses is one of the most visually striking strategy RPGs on the Nintendo Switch, thanks to its gorgeous cel-shaded character models. Released in 2019, it quickly became a fan favorite, not just for its deep tactical gameplay, but for its rich storytelling and branching paths. You play as a young professor at the prestigious Garreg Mach Monastery, tasked with leading one of 3 houses of students. Each house has its own personalities, politics, and secrets, and your choice shapes the entire course of the war-torn continent of Fodlan. The game blends tactical turn-based battles with relationship building and time management. A bit like Persona, but with heavy medieval fantasy vibes. Its cel shading brings the cast to life, making every expression and battle stance look like it leapt straight from an anime. Even on the Switch's modest hardware, the bold colors and clean outlines make the characters pop against the backgrounds. And while some texture work in the environments shows the console's limits, the overall presentation is timeless. The story is split into multiple routes, meaning a single playthrough might only scratch the surface. To see it all, you'll need 200+ hours. Battles are intense and rewarding, with terrain advantages, weapon triangles, and class changes offering endless strategic depth. The character designs are instantly iconic, from the mysterious Byleth to the noble Edelgard and charming Claude. The cel shading helps them stay visually memorable long after the credits roll. It's a rare case of a modern Fire Emblem looking as good in battle as it does in cutscenes, keeping the style consistent throughout. Three Houses is proof that cel shading isn't just about looks. It's about creating an identity that sticks with you for years. If you're after a tactical RPG with heart, replay value, and timeless visuals, this is one you can't skip. Fate Samurai Remnant takes the massive Fate franchise and drops it into a stunning cel-shaded action RPG format. Developed by Omega Force, the studio behind the Dynasty Warriors series, it blends Musou-style combat with deep RPG elements. Set in a richly detailed version of Edo period Japan, the game follows Miyamoto Iori as he's pulled into a brutal Holy Grail war. Each master summons a powerful servant, legendary figures from history and myth to fight alongside them. The cel shading here is more than just a visual choice. It makes every duel look like an anime battle brought to life. From sweeping sword arcs to glowing magical attacks, the style keeps the action readable yet explosive. The city environments are full of warm lighting, paper lanterns, and narrow streets that feel straight out of a period drama. The story is dense but engaging, with political intrigue, supernatural mystery, and emotional character arcs. Fans of the Fate universe will love the cameos and lore connections, but newcomers can jump in without feeling lost. Switching between Iori's swordplay and your servant's unique powers adds variety to every encounter. And while the combat can be flashy and fast, there's also room for exploration, side quests, and dialogue choices. The voice acting, both in Japanese and English, is strong, and the soundtrack blends traditional Japanese instruments with modern beats. What really makes it shine is the attention to character design. The cel shading captures every intricate detail of the costumes and weapons. It's a rare mix of historical Japan and fantasy spectacle, tied together by a style that will still look gorgeous in 10 years. Whether you're a Fate veteran or a complete newcomer, this is one of the best examples of how cel shading can make a world feel alive.
I don't know why I see a hero in your...
Valkyria Chronicles 4 is one of the finest tactical RPGs of the last decade and a masterclass in cel-shaded artistry. Developed by Sega, it continues the series' trademark blend of turn-based strategy with real-time movement and aiming. Set during the same war as the first game, it follows Squad E, a young, determined group of soldiers fighting on the Eastern Front. The story blends camaraderie, sacrifice, and the brutality of war, all wrapped in a painterly, storybook presentation. The Canvas graphics engine is what makes it stand out. Cel shading combined with hand-drawn textures that look like watercolor paintings. Every battlefield, from snowy fortresses to sunlit plains, feels like it was pulled straight from an illustrated war diary. You move your units in real time, taking cover, lining up shots, and using each class's unique abilities strategically. Tank warfare plays a huge role, with customizable vehicles that can turn the tide of a match when used well. The cel shading here isn't just about looking pretty, it also keeps the action clear while maintaining a distinct artistic flair. The characters themselves are full of personality, each with their own voice lines, quirks, and story moments. Cutscenes flow seamlessly between in-engine visuals and stylized storybook panels, deepening the feeling that you're part of a living history. The soundtrack, with sweeping orchestral themes, perfectly matches the grand scale of the conflict. Even on modern systems, the visuals hold up incredibly well, proving that art direction can outlast raw graphical power. For fans of tactical RPGs, it's as satisfying as it is beautiful. Battles are challenging, but victory feels earned. And for those who just want to get lost in a visually unique world, this is one of the best cel-shaded experiences out there. If you've ever played Persona 3 or Persona 4, you know the series had a more traditional 3D style, but when Persona 5 arrived, it completely redefined the franchise's look, embracing a cel-shaded, anime-like visual style that feels alive in every frame. This isn't just a game, it's a moving piece of art dripping with style in every menu transition, every battle animation, every cutscene. You play as the protagonist, often called Joker, a high school student who's forced to live in Tokyo after being falsely accused of a crime. Soon, he discovers the metaverse, an alternate reality shaped by corrupted desires where he and his friends awaken as the Phantom Thieves, rebels who fight injustice by stealing the twisted hearts of wrongdoers. The story mixes high school slice-of-life moments with intense supernatural battles, creating a balance that keeps you hooked for dozens, even hundreds of hours. Combat is turn-based, but fast and flashy, with elemental weaknesses, team-up attacks, and the ability to recruit personas, supernatural beings that act as your allies in battle. Outside of combat, you manage your social life, building relationships that give you both emotional payoffs and gameplay advantages. But what makes Persona 5 Royal so timeless visually is its mastery of cel shading. Characters look like they stepped right out of an anime, yet the shading and color work give them depth and texture. The bold, red and black UI, the comic book style battle screens, the dynamic camera angles, everything feels deliberately designed to pop off the screen. Royal, the enhanced version, adds new story arcs, characters, music, and quality of life features, making it the definitive way to play. Even decades from now, Persona 5 Royal will be remembered as one of the most stylish RPGs ever made. Proof that cel shading isn't just a visual choice, but a way to make a game truly timeless. And that's my list of some of the most stunning cel-shaded RPGs ever made. These games prove that great art direction never gets old. they'll still look amazing decades from now. If you've played any of them, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if I missed one of your favorites, let me know. I'm always looking for more gems to check out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more gaming deep dives. We've got plenty more lists, hidden gems, and gaming history coming your way. Thanks for watching.